NBC pledges a full campaign to help Obamacare succeed. Thank you for watching the Chicago Live Show. This is going to be a video in 3 parts. I'm going to talk about the House of Representatives, the Senate, Obama, and NBC. So recently, unless you've been under a rock, the House passed a resolution creating the short-term budget that would fund the federal government, all except for Obamacare, which they specifically left out. They passed it on to the Senate, and then the Senate, of course, even with the filibuster.
You want to know why the job economy is so bad, why there's so few jobs, why we've got the lowest workforce participation in decades in the United States? Well, small businesses generate 2/3 of all new jobs in the economy. And small businesses have been hammered under Obamacare unlike ever before. If we listened to our constituents, we would step forward and act to avert this train wreck. And anyone who is trying to make this a battle of personalities is trying to change the topic from the topic that should matter: whether or not Obamacare is helping the American people. Mr. President, if you focus on the substance, the evidence is overwhelming. This law is a train wreck. Anyone who votes to cut off debate on this bill is voting to allow Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid to fully fund Obamacare. That's a vote that I think is a profound mistake.
Of trying to get the senators to not support Obamacare. The Senate, which is democratically majority led, revised it to include Obamacare and pass it on to the House. The House has now tried to revise it so that Obamacare is not funded for a year, at least. And of course, when you watch the mainstream media news, is of course going, oh, the Republicans are doing terrible things and they're gonna shut down the government. Let me tell you what's going on behind the scenes, and I'm gonna go over some numbers. 70% of the U.S. population is against Obamacare, flat out. If you happen to be one of the few that supports Obamacare, you just have not read the actual documentation of Obamacare. It's about 1,000 pages. I know it's a tough read, but you're an adult. Get to reading. You should not be supporting something that will destroy this country. I have one of my subscribers, Ben Pasciuto, writing a script describing all about Obamacare. So I'm going to go over that in the future sometime when he gets that script to me. Now, so 70% of the country is actually against Obamacare. Some news agencies have flat out just reported that. Of course, we know that the House Republicans and some Democrats in the House are against Obamacare. Let's go to the Senate. A lot of the senators are against Obamacare, but they don't want to lose face with their constituency. They don't want to lose face with the Democratic Party, so they support Obamacare in front of the door. Behind closed doors, they of course are not, and I have this on good sources. Now let's talk about Obama. Does Obama support Obamacare? He does not support Obamacare, and I think it's really telling that Americans don't remember that he was the one that they were threatening to impeach over him not enforcing certain aspects of Obamacare. Some of the unions, I'm sorry, I'm like 3,000 years old. Guilds, some of the guilds have requested to be exempted from Obamacare, which of course he turned around and said no, that they cannot be exempted. The House and the Senate have both threatened to impeach Obama, specifically over him not enforcing and wanting to postpone Obamacare. This was only a month ago. But now, of course, he's coming out bolstering, goes, oh yes, I will veto any measure that does not support Obamacare. Are you people really that short attention span? Do you have the memory of an ant? That you need some sort of pheromone trail to put one foot in front of the other as you go through your daily chores? I don't get it. So the mainstream media, of course, is now trying to paint this as the House Republicans as being against Obamacare and not just against Obamacare, but threatening to shut down the government. Understand, the bill the entire government was completely funded. The only unfunded part was Obamacare. Had the Senate passed it, the federal government, and if Obama passed it too, the federal government would chug along just as poorly as it is, including with the debt ceiling. I want people to pay attention and to remember 1 month from the next. The real culprits here are the Democrats. The Democrats, they were funding, listen to what the House bill actually did. It funded the government without raising the debt ceiling and excluding Obamacare. The Senate then turned around and says, no, Obamacare has to be included and we have to raise the debt ceiling. And so if Obama gets that document, it is the Democrats who are plunging us into even more debt. Understand what is going on. Now, this isn't to just white people or just black people or anything. This is to everybody in America. Remember, remember, remember. Please remember, when NBC comes on and says, oh, the Republicans are evil, the Republicans are evil. Not that they're really that different from Democrats, because they are all fed by Wall Street. On this particular matter, they do not want to suffer, and they already know the numbers. 70% are against Obamacare. So it's well within their whole let's get reelected thing to be against Obamacare. Why? The U.S. is against Obamacare. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out why the Republicans are doing this. They're not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They know that the numbers are against Obamacare. The Democrats don't care. The Democrats will do whatever the hell they please. They'll do all of this. And let me just touch a little bit on Obamacare. Obamacare is terrible. Let me tell you why. It doesn't improve healthcare. It's all about insurance, first of all, right? Insurance. That's all it's about. It doesn't. Everybody who doesn't have insurance will not have insurance after Obamacare is completely implemented, right? Understand that. Everybody who has a pre-existing condition will not be covered under Obamacare. Forget what you heard. I wish I could remember. I'm sure there's like a rap that said something like that. Forget what you heard. Here's the problem. So, healthy young person who doesn't care about health care nor insurance pays the $100 fine, $200 fine, whatever, yearly. Every year they pay the $200 fine, yearly, right? 10 years goes by and they are in a catastrophic accident. They can, under Obamacare, then sign up for insurance. It will destroy insurance as we know it. The whole point of insurance is that we have massive amounts, because there's more of them, massive amounts of healthy young people paying premiums. And then you have a tiny portion of the elderly, or the middle-aged and the elderly who have some sort of a disease or chronic illness or something like that, and they pay out to those people. They depend on those massive amounts of healthy young people to pay to be able to afford to cover the payouts of the middle-aged and elderly who suffer from whatever. This is going to flip all of that on its head, and you will not see, and here's a conspiracy theory about that. You will not see insurance as we know it today, because insurance will cease to exist, because you cannot have only payouts. And under Obamacare, you can have only payouts, theoretically, right? So theoretically, the people who do not have insurance or who do not have insurance, are healthy, are young, will not pay into insurance as it stands now. Then when something happens, then they can, as it happens, go and sign up for Obamacare, sign up for insurance, and it is only a payout service. So it's a 100% payout service. So here's a conspiracy theory about that. The government then takes over all of healthcare, and they bill everybody directly. So Obamacare is simply a stepping stone to destroying the entire healthcare system. Think about that. Rewind. I'm showing my age, right? Rewind that. Listen to that again. And think about that. Insurance, health insurance as we know it, will cease to exist within 5 years. I predict within 5 years. Anyway, that's what's going on with the Obamacare federal government, the short-term, and this is a short-term budget. It is not a long-term budget. It's just a short-term budget. But NBC is going to make it out like the House Republicans are so crazy and they're blah, 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 blah. And they have announced that they will... they're spending millions on a campaign to make sure that Obamacare succeeds. Why? Because they know that 70% of the country is against it. When you have millions, it doesn't matter. When you're one of the elite, it doesn't matter. All of this doesn't matter. If the entire country is destroyed, they can have a doctor come and treat them in their home and pay him directly with cash, and they can have hospital beds, a full sanitized unit inside of their mansion. They don't care. They could care less. Understand what's going on. Anyway, tell me what you think about that. Like this video. Please like the video and share this video. Some people need to see this. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show.